power. A law of immeasurable value that betters your life, makes you more efficient, and is indispensable for the acquisition of power. Emotional control and self-restraint is the prerequisite of this law. It goes very well hand in hand with many laws, and especially with Law 4. Friends, arguing endlessly won't bring you far. Be a man or woman of action. No need to explain yourself when you can use all the time to take action and get stuff done. You'll see clips to exemplify this law of Suits and Game of Thrones. On top of all of this, also the various stories given in the book. And we'll end the video with what Robert Greene says is the only use for words in the realm of power, even though you may not like that reason. Laws of Power, Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Any momentary triumph you think you have gained through argument is really a Pyrrhic victory. The resentment and ill will you stir up is stronger and lasts longer than any momentary change of opinion. It is much more powerful to get others to agree with you through your actions without saying a word. Demonstrate, do not explicate. Observance in Suits. Daniel Hardman is a named partner who has been forced out of the firm 5 years ago.
Something I can help you with?
You can help me understand why you've been stealing from our clients. Oh, God damn it, Daniel.
It was for Alicia. She's dying. Breast cancer. Stage 4. She found a lump a year ago. It was the worst day of our lives. I don't expect you to forgive me. She's not dying because I didn't spend the money. What are you doing here?
Delivering champagne. I see you can afford it since the money you've been stealing from our clients hasn't been going to your wife's cancer treatments. Hey, Monica, how's it going? Daniel and I need a minute. Letter of resignation.
You come after me for embezzlement. Every Pearson Hardman client you've got is gone. Then why are you here?
Waiting for your wife. She's invited to a fundraiser. She'll be at the front desk in 3 minutes. You don't sign, they'll send her up to this
You
room.
dragged a woman racked with cancer here to blackmail me. You goddamn bastard.
Says the man cheating on his dying wife.
The leverage Jessica and Harvey had on him is gone. Now he's back at the firm and he plans to take Jessica's seat and oust her out in the upcoming episodes. You'll see a lot more from him in this Power series since he is a worthy opponent of Jessica Pearson and he is way out of the league of Harvey Specter. This is his first day back and this is what he does.
As I would like to offer a big welcome back to Daniel Hardman. We're thrilled to have you home. Now, moving on.
I'm sorry, Jessica, I want to be clear. Nothing's changing. Jessica is still the head of this firm. I'm here in a number 2 capacity.
Thank you, Daniel. Moving on. Prescott Hospital's negotiation with their nurses union. I'm going to need someone who's going to bring this home.
I did bring Prescott into the firm. I'm your man.
What I was going to say is I brought Harvey up to speed on this last night.
Been prepping all morning.
Really? The whole morning?
I learn fast.
Maybe I could still help. Mind if I take a look?
Later.
I'll swing by your office.
Sounds like a plan.
Now Jessica takes this as a way that Hardman is trying to undermine her.
Goddamn Daniel.
Picked up right where you left off.
Trying to cut my legs out.
Harvey goes into Hardman's office to tell him he cannot be on the case.
I thought the plan was to meet in your office.
I thought I'd save us some time.
This is a child custody dispute.
You said you changed. Why don't you prove it by doing some good?
But I don't have to prove anything to you.
Not as long as you sit in this office, but when you stick your nose in my cases, that's another story.
My name is on the door. They're all my cases.
The name of this firm is Pearson Hardman. You said yourself, you're number 2. I answer to number 1.
One way or another, you will learn to treat me with respect.
But I don't work for you, and I sure as hell don't work with you. Pick up the phone. Little Lenny deserves the best.
Hardman doesn't say anything afterwards, but this is what he does.
What are you doing here?
I'm here on behalf of Pearson Hardman.
This hearing starts in 5 minutes, which means you've got 4 minutes to get out of here.
Daniel, I'm prepared to rule on your motion. TRO granted. This one's legit. It's good to have you back, Daniel.
Thank you for moving me up on the docket, Judge.
he goes ahead and just reschedules the hearing of Harvey. Fantastic use of Law 4. Harvey is not on his level in strategy and he doesn't see the big picture like he does. At the end, this happens.
What the hell was that?
I believe it was a victory.
Hey, you don't reschedule my hearings.
Now Daniel got the leverage, so he starts speaking from a position of power.
You don't reschedule my hearings.
Were you in there? Because I do. The truth is, you should be thanking me.
Oh, would you like me to thank your face with my fist?
Harvey, I said I've changed. Don't mistake that change for weakness. I told you my name's on the door. Didn't get there by me taking shit from the likes of you. You want to work together on this? I'm open to it. You don't? This is how it's going to be.
Whereas before, he was in a position of weakness. Daniel Hardman won this battle not through argument, but through keeping silent, which is Law 4, through concealing his intention, which is Law 3, and Law 29, which is planning all the way to the end. In essence, he didn't argue, but he took action. Like Frank Underwood, this is a guy who lies, deceives, and betrays people like he is born for this. All qualities you should never aim at, but the beauty of Suits is if your morals and values are well-intentioned and properly aligned, you'll distinguish and observe the difference between power in its good form and in its corrupt sense. We will cover Daniel Hardman more in the upcoming laws. Keys to power. In the realm of power, you must learn to judge your moves by their long-term effects on other people. Days after agreeing with someone, we often revert back to our old opinion out of sheer habit. Actions and demonstration are much more powerful and meaningful. Friends, no one can argue with a demonstrated proof. The power of demonstrating your idea is that your opponents do not get defensive and are therefore more open to persuasion. Another thing, making them literally and physically feel your meaning is infinitely more powerful than argument, as you will observe in a second. I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but I have used a wonderful example in the power intro video. Here's the clip.
Which truth is that?
Knowledge is power.
Seize him. Cut his throat. Stop. Wait. I've changed my mind. Let him go. Step back 3 paces. Turn around. Close your eyes. Power is power.
That's what Robert means. She physically made him feel her meaning instead of arguing it, like he was. Robert says, the most powerful persuasion goes beyond action into symbol. The power of a symbol, a flag, a mythic story, a monument to some emotional event is that everyone understands you without anything being said. When aiming for power or trying to conserve it, always look for the indirect route, and also choose your battles carefully. If it doesn't matter in the long run whether the other person agrees with you or not, or if time and their own experience will make them understand what you mean, then it is best to not even bother with a demonstration. Save your energy and walk away. Just like Daniel Hardman did against Harvey. He didn't stand there and keep on arguing endlessly, he just went ahead and did his thing. But friends, what happens when you don't adhere to this law? Like, what are the negative ramifications on you? Let's explore the stories of Robert Greene that he uses to demonstrate this law. Defiance of the law. In 131 BC, the Roman consul Publius Mucianus was laying siege to a Greek town. He needed a battering ram to force through the town's walls. He had seen a couple of hefty ships massed in a shipyard in Athens a few days before, and he ordered that the larger of these be sent to him immediately. The military engineer in Athens who received the order felt certain that the consul really wanted the smaller one of the masts. So what did he do? He argued endlessly with the soldiers who delivered the request. The soldiers warned the engineer, "Listen, our master is not a man to argue with." Despite these warnings, the engineer insisted that the smaller mast would be the only one that would work. He drew diagram after diagram and went on so far to say, I am the expert and you bunch have no clue what you're talking about. But friends, the soldiers knew their leader. The engineer nonetheless sent the smaller mast, confident that the console would see how much more effective it was and reward him justly. When the smaller mast arrived, Mucianus went into a rage. He could not concentrate on the siege or consider the importance of breaching the walls before the town received reinforcements. All he could think about was the impudent engineer. The engineer gladly explained to the consul one more time the reasons for the smaller mast. He went on and on saying it was wise to listen to experts in these matters, and if the attack was only tried with the battering ram he had sent, the consul would not regret it. What did Mucianus do? Chill, relax. Mucianus let him finish. And then he had him stripped naked before the soldiers and flogged and scourged him with rods until he died. Interpretation. The engineer, whose name has not been recorded by history, had spent his life designing masts and pillars and was well respected as the finest engineer in a city that had excelled in the science. He knew that he was right. A smaller ram would allow more speed and carry more force. But the engineer was an arguer, which is a type found everywhere among us. The arguer does not understand that words are never neutral, and that by arguing with a superior, he impugns the intelligence of one more powerful than he is. He also has no awareness of the person he is dealing with, and when cornered, he only argues more, digging his own grave. He has made the other person feel insecure and inferior in his beliefs, and as we saw in Law 1, he outshined his direct superior, his master. See, it is not simply a question of avoiding an argument with those who stand above you. We all believe we are masters in the realm of opinions and reasoning. Friends, learning how to use words to influence is important. Let's get that very clear, it is important, but even better than that is to learn to demonstrate the correctness of your ideas indirectly. Before we move to show you how it is exceptionally well done, friends, real quick, thanks a lot for the mind-blowing growth of the past weeks and welcome to our new family members. We've gained well over 5,000 subscribers in the last 2 weeks. If you are new here and deliberating on whether to subscribe or not, the goal of this channel is to give you the tools and strategies that you can implement in your life so you can achieve your desired goals and dreams, but more importantly, closing in on your maximum potential. If that is something that resonates with you, consider subscribing. We are covering external appearances right now, and soon I'll introduce more and more internal work. I got a lot of messages from you guys on Instagram which are primarily focused on how do I develop a vision for myself? How do I do the things that I don't really want to do? How can I find my calling in life? How can I make a decision right now that I won't regret later in life? We'll cover it all in due time. Oh, remember to vote on the YouTube polls and the ones on Instagram, because you get to decide which videos we're gonna do next. Observance of the law. In 1502 in Florence, Italy, an enormous block of marble stood in the works department of the church of Santa Maria del Fiore. It had once been a magnificent piece of raw stone, but now it had a hole through. Florence's mayor gave up on saving the block because everyone agreed that the stone had been ruined. It was gathering dust in the dark halls of the church. Then Michelangelo got a letter from friends who were living in Florence. They convinced him that he was the one who could make something out of the marble. Michelangelo accepted the challenge and traveled to Florence, examined the stone, and came to the conclusion that he could in fact carve a fine figure from it. The mayor argued that this was a waste of time. Nobody could salvage a disaster like this, but he finally agreed to let the artist work on it. Weeks later, as Michelangelo was putting the final touches on the statue, the mayor entered the studio. He walked around and he studied the huge work. And then he opened his mouth. Although it is magnificent, there is a flaw. Michelangelo quietly looked at him. The nose is too big. Michelangelo realized that the mayor was standing in a place right under the giant figure, and did not have the proper perspective. Without a word, he gestured for the mayor to follow him up the scaffolding. Reaching the nose, he picked up his chisel as well as marble dust that lay on the planks. Michelangelo starting to tap lightly with the chisel, letting the bits of dust he had gathered in his hand fall little by little. He actually did nothing to change the nose, but gave every appearance of working on it. After a few minutes of this charade, the mayor stood aside and looked at it. "I like it better now," said the mayor. "You've made it come alive. Now that's how it's done." Interpretation. Michelangelo knew that changing the shape of the nose might ruin the entire sculpture. Yet, the mayor was a patron who prided himself on his aesthetic judgment. To offend such a man by arguing would not only gild Michelangelo nothing, it would put future commissions in jeopardy. Michelangelo was too clever to argue. His solution was to change the mayor's perspective without making him realize that this was the cause of his misperception. The lesson is simple. Michelangelo found a way to keep the perfection of the statue intact while at the same time making the mayor believe he had improved it. Such is the double power of winning through actions rather than argument. No one is offended and your point is proven. Friends, it is better that you realize this very soon. People want to feel they have something to do with the results of your work. They want to influence it. You can do this in many ways. I'll give you 3 examples of that. Vanessa Van Edwards in her book Captivate writes, "Before leaders can inspire action, they have to get emotional buy-in." The first one is giving people emotional ownership over ideas, goals, and projects. When you do this, you will notice them performing better. They'll do themselves, you, and the environment a great service this way. It is a triple win. This way you can give them an opportunity to grow and prove themselves. Guys, this goes very well hand in hand with the ethical variant I provided in Law 7. And this is what I mean with you shouldn't take everything that's written in this book literally out of it. When you adjust things and make it more ethical and something that is more durable over time, that is better for you and for the people around you, now that is true power. It is power in its positive form. Let's get to the second one. The second way is for when the former isn't a viable option. Use Law 31, which states control the options and get others to play with the cards you deal. A video about this will be made in due time. Or, the final one, you could even do what Michelangelo did and give people the appearance of control to them. Michelangelo let the mayor believe that he listened and did what the mayor did. Both of them were satisfied. Now, let's see what I meant in the intro for the only use of words in the realm of power, according to Robert Greene. And I'll exemplify this with a short scene from Suits. Reversal of the law. Robert Greene writes, verbal argument has one vital use in the realm of power: to distract and cover your tracks when you are practicing deception or are caught in a lie. Let's look at a simple example. Louis Litt picks, surprise surprise, a fight with someone to assert his authority, which he does in a sad and pathetic way. He has a constant need for validation. His ego needs to be stroked, and this neediness to be respected is what screws him up. After he picks this fight with Katrina Bennett, Katrina deceives him in this manner.
We have a problem?
Oh yeah, big one. You haven't come to see me yet.
Again, I don't know who you...
I oversee the first and second year associates. It's a responsibility that I take as seriously as holding the nuclear launch codes in my hands.
Well, if you take it so seriously, then why are you in a fifth-year associate's office trimming your fingernails at her desk?
I will sculpt my nails wherever I damn well please. Why don't we see what you're up to?
That's a violation of my privacy.
Oh yeah? You're gonna tell. And this is your defense. Wow, it's like you're a baboon.
But I'm in full control of Mr. Ritter's defense strategy.
It's not a strategy, it's a prayer, which is why I'm gonna be forced to supervise you.
This is unacceptable.
You can either welcome my tutelage, or you can crawl back to the DA's office from whence you came. Welcome to Pearson Hardman.
Louis? Seat at the desk.
What do you want?
To apologize for any misunderstanding we might have had.
that you might have had.
I had. I looked up your record. You're a white-collar genius.
Go on.
I don't just accept your tutelage. I'm begging for your help. My motion to dismiss is Wednesday with Judge McIntyre. Since you know him so well, would you do me the honor of signing on his first chair?
I can, and I will.
You've forgiven me with grace, and now you're saving me in my hour of need. You're my knight in shining armor.
Ah. I will see you on Wednesday, milady.
He obviously loves how she lowers herself to acknowledge his superiority. Since his ego got stroked, he is now blinded by what Katrina has set up.
How dare you?
How dare I what?
I just got a $3,000 fine from Judge McIntyre for missing my own hearing.
I thought maybe your horse took fever, my liege.
You said it was Wednesday and you know it.
No, I said Tuesday.
This here's a fight you don't want to have.
I didn't pick
You're
it.
gonna write a letter expressing how sorry you are to Judge McIntyre.
No.
I'm gonna count to 5.
You can count to 500.
You lied to me, and you know it.
Oh, yeah? Who are you gonna tell?
And this is why Robert writes, verbal argument has one vital use in the realm of power: to distract and cover your tracks when you are practicing deception or are caught in a lie. In such cases, it is to your advantage to argue with all the conviction you can muster. Draw the other person into an argument to distract them from your deceptive move. He goes on saying, when you are caught in a lie, the more emotional and certain you appear, the less likely it seems that you are lying.